Aegis combat assist activated. Systems green.
Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. So I wanted to check out how a light fighter performs in atmosphere next. The light fighters are probably the closest ships we have in-game to real-life fighter jets. So today we're going to take a look at the Aegis Gladius, in my opinion, the most exciting combat ship for atmosphere that we have in-game right now. As always, a massive thank you to my Patreons. If you do like my content and want to help support my channel, follow the link to the Patreon page below, it is much appreciated. Now the Gladius, I feel, is generally CIG's go-to ship for when they implement new features like flight effects, sounds, and just balancing in general. It seems to get the most attention when something is getting developed. This means it's usually the forerunner for new tech. This will most likely be due to its heavy involvement in Squadron 42. For example, when you hit the flight ready in a thought button, the pilot's cockpit animations play out, which is the only ship I've seen doing this. When they were demonstrating the new flight model, the Gladius was one of 3 ships they used, and it was also the ship used in the Squadron 42 vertical slice, so it's clearly an important ship within the game. It is safe to say that it's the gold standard at which we can expect all of the ships to be polished up to. Surprisingly, I've not really used it all that much in the PU nor in atmosphere, and I don't know why, because it's one of the most exhilarating experiences I've ever had in game. We'll start with the sounds as usual. When you start her up, you get this fizzy deep rumbling, and as you thrust forwards, it has the shakiness to give you the feeling that the thrusters are doing their thing. There's a consistent droning as you are moving, with the occasional metallic rattle, which I would expect them to add to more ships, plus increase as ships get wear and damage and so forth, just to give you more indication as to what's going on in and where on your ship. As you transition into atmosphere, you're really going to get a sense of drag. The camera shakes, you can hear wind whistling past. It really feels like the ship is trying to cut through the atmosphere. It also seems to have the most effects added to it. When afterburning, the sound is so loud, and you can hear what sounds like something is being injected into the engine, sort of giving it that boost. For maneuverability, it rolls quite well, not the quickest, but it is sufficient. It's capable of yawing, but it's soon dragged back onto its original vector, as you would expect. To make the turns, you're really going to need to utilise its cross-section and do a roll and then pitch up. Now, I will point out that when pitching up on a roll to make the turns, I was pulling about 35 Gs, which is just ridiculous when you consider trained pilots being capable of handling no more than about 9 Gs vertically. So I would expect things like that to be less extreme, which could result in a slight nerf, I'm not too sure. But when you're flying in the straight line, you can hit speeds of about 549 meters a second without afterburner. This is pretty much nearly on the surface of Daymar, and if you engage afterburner, you get up to about 638 meters a second before it overheats. And even at those speeds, it's still capable of staying on point, which is just incredible. This is, in my opinion, the pinnacle of a light fighter. It really navigates well through the canyons at good speed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it seriously sounds like things are going to fall off if you keep pushing it, and it's likely going to need to slow down a bit when they start implementing the damage tech to allow that. But having dogfights planetside in one of these, chasing people through the canyons, is going to be one of the best experiences, and I'm definitely going to enjoy it. Also, as it doesn't seem to overheat too fast in general, you can really appreciate the feeling of flying fast around the surface. I think the Gladius is currently the most polished ship in all areas, maneuvering, sounds, everything. It feels like it's had the most attention, and so for all the other ships, and the Gladius as well, as time goes on, we can expect more in way of sounds, visual effects, handling, atmospheric ability, pretty much all areas. And when they start implementing components, the Gladius gives me that sort of end game feel, like the flight is almost finished. I know it's not, and I know there's a long way to go, but it allows me to imagine kind of how Squadron 42 may feel. I highly suggest giving the Gladius a go and feeling it for yourself. It is a lot of fun. I'm interested to see how the Arrow compares to the Gladius, with them both being similar on paper, so we'll have to give that a go. But with that said, I will leave you with the rest of the footage as usual so you can enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, tick the little notification bell so you know when my videos go live. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.